Always remember to hydrate. I now know why other YouTubers don't necessarily do this.
This pizza is a representation of your happiness. This much, about half, represents your genes and your biology, your natural inclinations that you honestly can't do anything about. Really, no matter how hard you try, this part is baked into you, if you pardon the pun. About 10% can be put down to your current life circumstances, whether they be positive, like that new job you always wanted, or that relationship you always wanted, or negative, losing that relationship or that gig. We could take a view of that being the bad news. Maybe we should just stop right now, switch the video off, start doom scrolling, stop even thinking about happiness, and focus exclusively on our anxiety and trauma, right? Well, as we know, autism itself is not a disease or a mental illness. And yet, autistic people suffer higher rates of anxiety than the general population. The data currently ranges from about 30% of anxiety incidents on the lower end to 69%, not nice at all, on the higher end. And we know that anxiety can intensify with age, although there's not really been, I can say, like nearly any research on this. If you're a researcher watching this, there you go, there's one for you. But we do know from studies into autistic children that anxiety does often intensify with age. like most autism research, it's focused on autistic children and not adults. Anyway, the remaining 40% of the happiness pizza pie can be shaped by intentional activities. Now, this model was originally proposed by researchers Sheldon Lyubomirsky and Sheldon and David Schkade in 2005, and I have definitely gotten at least one of those names wrong. And this spawned about 2 decades of research into happiness and self-help culture. The problem is, the original research had some flaws, problems that the original researchers have since now accepted. Their original data cited studies from the 1970s where social norms are, let's say, very different to today. And there were technical failings too, such as measurement errors and variances that cannot necessarily be explained by the intentional activities that I'll be getting to in this video. Just to be intellectually honest and nuanced, the 40% slice of the happiness pie that you can control is on the optimistic end of the scale. Even Sonia, who helped create the model, later said that the pie change had, quote, outlived its usefulness. Although the 40% happiness buff, which was a bit OP, has been scaled down in patches, I suppose, to be as small as a 5% boost in reality, but I will happily take whatever positive buff I can get. This is Opalite, inspired by Taylor Swift's song of the same name. It might look like natural opal or some other sort of precious stone or gem, but it's not natural at all. It's entirely artificial. This one's been made in some factory in the Far East somewhere. It was deliberately created. But why? If you hold it up to the light, it glimmers with this sort of beautiful skylight. Opalite represents something powerful. The idea that we can deliberately craft our own sense of beauty, meaning and happiness. I mean, just like this artificial stone catches the light and creates something genuinely beautiful, despite its artificial manufactured origins, we can intentionally create habits and practices that genuinely boost our well-being. I know this is beginning to sound somewhat dramatic, but the research backs this up. Studies on gratitude practices, for instance, show that people who regularly write down things that they're grateful for also report higher levels of life satisfaction. Social connection is another big one. Maintaining close relationships and engaging with community has been shown to be one of the strongest predictors of happiness, even stronger than income, once basic needs are met. Social connections have been shown, they've been proven to increase life expectancy by as much as giving up smoking. Research shows that things that we think will make us happy don't last as long as we expect. Think new gadgets, maybe even that new plushie from my last video, a new job or promotion at work, even winning the lottery jackpot. It will make us happy, but the question is, for how long? In a classic study by Brickman, Coates and Janoff-Bulman in 1978, lottery winners weren't significantly happier. They weren't significantly happier than a control group a year later. And, rather perversely, they actually found less pleasure in everyday activities. Another study by Lucas et al. In 2003 found the same pattern with major life events like marriage or job changes. These things can make us feel happier for some weeks, 2 months, but we will eventually revert back to our baselines within just a few months. And this goes either way. Psychologists have a fancy name for this. It's called Hedonic Adaptation. This is the brain's way of normalizing good or bad fortune. You can't store happiness like money in a bank, and you have to intentionally generate it again and again, unlike stress and anxiety, which just seems to come along for free. It does. We have to work on the positive. So in this video, I'm going to share 10 evidence-based strategies to keep the glow alive and to generate some happiness. Let's go. Hey, this is a baby. I appear to have a bit of an audience going on. The research on green and blue spaces is so powerful. A huge 18-country study published in the journal Scientific Reports from 2021 found that people who spend time in natural spaces, forests, rivers, coastlines report higher well-being and less mental distress than those who don't. Just being in nature resets our stress systems. I'm mildly stressed about the possibility of another rainstorm, but moving on. You don't have to wait for joy to appear. You can design it. Happiness isn't necessarily something that just happens, something that'll just occur to you one random Tuesday afternoon. Maybe we need to make it for ourselves. And in this video, I'm going to talk about why, and most importantly, 10 actual evidence-backed ways that you can improve your happiness today. Okay, it's getting a bit colder. Tip 1, express gratitude. Gratitude acts like a cognitive reset. Robert Emmons and Michael McCullough from 2003 found that people who wrote down a few things that they were thankful for each week were happier people, they slept better, and even exercised more. You don't need a fancy journal, just a moment to notice and record what's good right now. Use your phone, drop it in the comment section below even. However you record it, record it. Even in our community Minecraft server, we have a temple of gratitude built by our community. I've linked details below if you want to try it out. Tip 2, cultivate optimism. Optimism isn't just pretending that everything's fine. It's actually believing that things can improve. A researcher named Martin Seligman published work on learned optimism back in the early 1990s and showed that reframing setbacks as temporary and specific can boost resilience and long-term well-being. Try this. Every morning, write down your best possible self in one area of your life. Research shows that this simple practice can increase positive emotions for weeks afterward. Number 3, move your body. Move your damn body as much as you are physically able to do. Try and get exercise for about 30 minutes most days of the week. I'm climbing a hill and it's kind of muddy and I'm holding out this camera. I decided to pack food and drink and my laptop and everything in my rucksack. I don't know why. Executive dysfunction. Do we need to go to the gym every single day and work out? Not at all. About 30 minutes of moderate movement most days of the week can unlock these benefits for you. Movement tells your body that you're alive and that you're safe. Tip 4,
Stop comparing. Are any of you on social media? It absolutely thrives on comparison and killing of your happiness. We've known about this effect for decades. It's just that social media amplifies it. A famous psychologist from the 1950s, the same chap who coined the phrase and the idea of cognitive bias, also came up with the idea of social comparison theory and warned that constant comparison of yourself with other people will erode your self-esteem.
If you're a bit competitive like me, measure yourself based on yourself. Compete and compare yourself with yourself from the past, not someone else's future or their past. Honestly, every step you take is a tiny little quiet victory. I don't post about it on the internet, and I'm about to post about it on the internet. You know what I mean.
It's not great to dwell on comparisons with other people. There is always someone with a bigger boat than you.
Number 5, when your brain won't stop overthinking. Remuneration, that's money, no. Rumination, when you start overplaying, you're overthinking, you just can't let thoughts go. It's something that I do a lot. I wish I couldn't. I wish I could just change that little bit of programming, that little script that just keeps looping.
Studies have shown that rumination feeds depression, but distraction, even something small, can break the spiral. Distraction isn't living in denial or avoidance, not necessarily anyway. It's first aid for overthinking.
There's a researcher called Nolan Hokusima, I think I said the name right, from 2000, that showed that rumination, this constant overthinking, actually feeds depression. But that distraction, even just a few simple tasks or just something, can break that spiral. Clean the kitchen, but I know what you mean. It's breaking the spiral and doing it. Feed the cats, whatever, you know, still. I tend to find something a little bit more severe breaks that for me. One of the best things for my mental health is going diving or snorkeling in the sea. If I can get there, then I'm in the moment. I'm in that place. I can't just easily quit, right? As long as you're not relying on it and to the point where you're just avoiding things that you need to do. But video games can be quite helpful. Distraction isn't like denial or just like being avoidant and things. Not necessarily, I mean it can be, but it's like first aid for overthinking.
Tip 6, acts of kindness. 5 small acts of kindness in a single day can lift your own mood for weeks. Kindness can create a feedback loop. We help others, our own brain then releases oxytocin as an exchange, and we feel better again. It's literally like playing a chemistry set experiment in your own brain. Tip 7, nurture social relationships. Julianne Holt-Lundstadt's meta-analysis from 2010 shows that strong social ties can increase lifespan about as much as quitting smoking does. Loneliness isn't just emotionally painful at times, it's physically harmful. Whether it's just a weekly coffee call, or not a call, whether it's a weekly coffee with a friend, joining a community group, or even connecting online in places like our Discord server, prioritize connection over passive doom scrolling. Tip 8, increase flow experiences. And I'm not talking about flow experiences. The flow is the state where time just disappears. Mihaly Csikszentmihalyi, I definitely am going to say some researcher's name wrong today, from 1990, found that people report their highest happiness during deep, focused engagement. For me, reading, researching, editing, scuba diving. It's great to be cut off from the worries and distractions of the surface world sometimes. Give yourself permission to dive in fully too. Also, it can feel awful to be pulled out of a flow experience, so give yourself some time, minimize distractions. I like to think in terms of half days. If I'm working on a YouTube video, I'll aim for a half-day increment. That's all I'm doing. I'm not doing the shopping, I'm not doing other things on that day. That half day, that is YouTube working time, or whatever. Half day is not like an hour here, oh, I've got 10 minutes, I could do something else. Just one block. So, Today is writing and filming, and that's all I'm doing. This evening, it's probably going to be drying out my clothes. Tip 9, savour mundane moments. Savouring is like mindfulness, but without the marketing associated with mindfulness. I guess I was looking for an alliteration there in my mind. Bryant and Vernoff, 2007, that is, showed that in deliberately noticing small pleasures strengthens positive emotion. This is why stimming is so important, by the way. But like, I'm just talking about almost being still and just noticing something. Like, I always like just guzzle my tea, but I rarely sit down and actually savor it and just sort of enjoy it. You feel, you know, I like sunlight, but I never sit there and think, oh, you know, I like the warmth on my face or whatever, and just sort of notice how those sensations are. I don't know with my sort of hypo-interoceptive awareness that I'm necessarily always going to pick up on these things unless I make a point of picking up on them or making time and making space for that. So do that. That's what I'm suggesting. It's evidence-based. Savour mundane moments. So sip your coffee or tea slowly. Always remember to hydrate. I think I'm going to go inside now. We'll finish this up in the studio. I now know why other YouTubers don't necessarily do this. If you like this, for the effort of getting soaked and everything, please leave a like, subscribe. Yes. I see you there. I appreciate it. Let's finish up indoors. Let's finish up indoors.
It was quite wet out there. Remember to hydrate. It was very, very rainy out there, I can honestly tell you. But rather than just like chew through your tea, or this is actually a coffee with some chai latte syrup in, very, very nice. And rather than just sort of like chuck it back and then get on with my day, it's worth taking some time to reflect and to think about the various textures and feelings, sensations, and so on. There are other content creators on YouTube that are better at doing this sort of thing than me, but basically taking a moment to savor as opposed to just sort of just blasting through. It does help. Tip 10. Commit to meaningful goals. Ed Dynier and colleagues in 2009 found that people who strive towards personally meaningful goals report higher life satisfaction than those who don't. It's not about the achievement. It's not ableism. It's not about hustling. It's entirely about the direction. It's not the achievement itself, right? The goal itself. So choose goals that fit your values, not someone else's expectations. Sodom, honestly, they're not important right now. Just choose goals that fit your values. You watching this video who has liked the video and subscribed and shared it somewhere and told your friends about it. I'm talking to you. It's actually your values. So I don't just dive and snorkel. I search and record marine species types in abundance. Why? Autism? No. Citizen science. But really, the main reason is intentionally committing to meaningful goals that give purpose and direction to the activity. I'm not just floating in the sea aimlessly. I'm less likely to think about what I'm going to have for lunch or feeding the cats or doing the shopping or whatever. When I'm focused on an objective, when I have a mission, a goal, I'm focused in that case on species identification and recording. It is meaningful and it makes me happy. So pick a goal and go for it. It's like borrowing from the very top of that Maslow's hierarchy of needs, even if you're not actually fully there in your own right yet. Everyone deserves to self-actualize for a bit and get some of the happiness rewards from that top tier at whatever level you're at. None of these things are instant fixes. They're crafts. They won't make any of your problems go away. They won't repair traumatic events from your past. They can't change your circumstances overnight. But they are a way to get at least a 5% buff to your happiness and can lead you to a better life. 5% can make the difference. And they are evidence that you can make your own happiness. just like you might make your own opalite. These chickens, by the way, are extremely hungry and actually shouldn't be here. They've likely been dumped here by their previous owners who didn't want to keep them or rehome them. And once one person's dumped some chickens, someone else will dump some chickens, someone else will dump some chickens, and they'll just offload them, right? And during the summer, it's actually not really an ethical issue because they'll be fed by families and children who come to feed the ducks and they'll feed the chickens. But there are now far too many to support, so I had to go back to feed them.
Just wanna know the whole thing, the whole damn thing. Just wanna know the whole thing.
Club card accepted.
Whole damn thing.
What's that?
Let me tell you,
Oh wow, chicks!
he's picking out pleasure.
Well, it's your lucky day, ladies.
Just wanna know the whole thing. Just wanna know the whole thing. The whole
At least I pay my co-stars on this channel more than the cast of Love on the Spectrum Season 3 got paid, at least, which was nothing. All of the receipts are in the video description, along with a link to the video that you really should see next. Before you do, remember to click like if you haven't done so already, stim the subscribe button if you'd like to, and I'll see you all in the next video. Ding the bell for more chickens. See you then. Bye.